whisper soft and low as a reptile steal the show. Step right up and take a glance at the scales that shine and dance. In the light they twist and gleam like a living, breathing dream. Watch them move with grace and mind.
All right, everybody. I'm Heather, and this is Heather's Reptile Show and Tell. And this is my girl Mouser. A lot of you already know who she is. But firstly, I just want to thank everybody for being here. If you're rewatching it or you're hearing the live tonight, or you're even one of my guests, thank you so much for supporting this. I am so passionate about reptiles, and I am so honored to be doing this and being a part of it. And just, I'm having a blast. So I just wanted to thank everybody. But I also wanted to just show off my beautiful girl. Again, I won't be showing my snakes in any lives that I do unless it's a live featured on my collection, but why not in the intro? So anyways, this is Mouser again, and let's dive into our amazing guest tonight. He has some pretty cool reptiles to show us. All right. How's it going, Ben?
Good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Already have a few people in the chat tonight.
Yeah, how that?
We got Tristan in here.
What up, Tristan?
And then we have Zoe and Archangel and Aaron.
Let's
So
go.
many. Okay.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hell yeah.
So wanted to have you maybe introduce yourself a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people already know who you are, but kind of your name and then what we're going to get into tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, everybody? My name is Ben. I go by Rooted Reptile on social media, and I'm just a normal person living their day-to-day lives, but has a serious passion and obsession for reptiles, specifically monitor lizards and arboreal snakes, I would say. I get down with the ground snakes too, but anything in the tree is significantly better in my opinion.
Same. For sure.
Good stuff. But yeah, I've been doing reptiles seriously, really dedicating, good amount of time to it for the last 3-ish years. But I've always loved reptiles since I was a kid. I'm a 96 baby. So growing up, Steve Irwin, Jeff Corwin, Jeremy Wade, all of the Nature Boys, Animal Planet, Discovery Channel really sparked the passion for me, in my early roots. And I was cooked from the beginning.
Yeah, same. For sure. That's all I watched, I felt like, as a kid, was Animal Planet, and yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. But yeah, tonight I'm going to be showing off some of my monitor lizards and then some of the snakes that I work with. Not everything, because obviously I like to keep some stuff low-key, but we'll be definitely going over a lot of the stuff that I work with and some of my quarantine policies and treatment procedures and how I bring in new animals and, all that stuff. But yeah, we can definitely get into a lot of it. If you see right here, there's the crocs just sitting right on top of each other, hoping that
So
we can
cool.
get these guys breed in this season. But, if not, no big deal. It is what it is.
How cool they stay together like that. And that enclosure.
Oh, yeah, not permanent, but right now we're definitely in the heat of I'm trying to cycle the female, and they've seemed receptive to each other, and hopefully we get some good locks here in the next week or 2 weeks. But if not, I'll separate and then reintroduce in, X amount of time and just keep going through the motion,
Yeah. I'm excited to see what they produce. They're pretty cool monitors.
Yeah,
how big do those guys get?
So this is an 8-foot by 6-foot by 6-foot enclosure, and these are 2 adult animals. They're not fully grown, but females easily 6 feet from nose to end of tail. A big male will be an 8-foot plus animal. Right now, she's probably 4.5, 5 feet, and then he's probably 6, 7.
6, 7. I see what you did there.
He's huge. He's a big guy, and I'll definitely be pulling those guys out. They're pretty chill. The female, she's a little testy, and that's kind of how I like my female monitor lizards to be. A tame female is, in my opinion, harder to get into a breeding cycle. So it's harder to, once they socialize, they kind of lose the drive to prolong their species. They're just like accepted, and they're just pets. They're like, all right, this is what it is. But the males, I'll keep all of my males very puppy dog, and do the most I can to socialize them. And I'm not going to act like I've had these guys forever. I'm still pretty new to the croc game, but I apply what I do to my other monitor lizards to them as well, because from some mentors that I've had and stuff that I've researched, an Ackie monitor is a croc monitor. Like a monitor lizard is a monitor lizard. You treat them the same. Obviously, within reason. A 7-foot lizard is different than a 18-inch lizard, but they're the same. They're all monitor lizards. They're all Varanus. So
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that you could treat them all kind of like Morelia a little bit, with a little bit of variance.
When it comes to like breeding and cycling them, for the most part, and socializing them, they're all about the same. Methods are a little different. Like you're not gonna do the exact care for a diamond python versus a coastal, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
that's true.
In the scheme of things, it's the same.
Yeah, true. That's fair.
Yeah.
So who do we have first for tonight? If you wanted to show, yeah.
So I think first for tonight, we will go ahead and go into the other room.
Not that I'm not excited to see your reptiles or anything, right?
Yeah, no excitedness here, but so for the most part, most of the reptiles, I'm just here in a normal house for my collection. I do manage and help take care of my buddy's collection as well, but for my home stuff, this is here. I guess I can do a little tour. This is, I'm not a big rack guy, but they have their place. This is where my grow-out snakes are, my hatchling animals that, are a little bit more of a pain in the butt to feed, and, et cetera, et cetera. But this is kind of how I'm trying to get all of my animals into PVC enclosures, 3x2x2 or larger. But this is where I keep my emerald tree boa. This is my native species passion project. Some coach whips are in here. Not very handleable. They bite the shit out of me every single time I work with them, but they're so cool.
So a coach whip, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is kind of how I keep some of my monitor lizards. These are 4x2x3 tall Apex PVC enclosures that have kind of been retrofitted for monitor lizards.
Those are cool.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Some dubious stacks. This one's empty. I'm gonna get some rattlesnakes in there. But that's a work in progress. This is where I keep my Aru female, and then this is kind of like my chondro stack. And I know
the best way to keep them sometimes.
Right. Well, so I like to keep everything PVC, but like I said, I built this collection of mine, where I really went serious and kind of went hard on it within the last year. And I'm kind of quarantining everything. So once they're kind of fully through that, I'll get them all into PVCs. But yeah, we're going to get rid of all these baker racks and plastic tubs, and everything is just going to be stacked with the black PVC enclosures.
The tubs make quarantine so much easier, for sure.
Tubs and paper towels are quarantine's best friend.
And gloves.
But the first animal that we're going to work with right now is going to be my green tree monitor. And, a lot of people see green tree monitors and they're going to be the Sarong locality green tree monitor. But this is a special animal. This is a European captive bred animal that was imported by Mason Barnes. It was one of 3 animals imported. And I was lucky enough to be blessed with the opportunity to get this animal, because there's, maybe 10 Maruki locality green tree monitors in the country. And,
oh, wow.
And he is
I'm going to zoom in so we can see him bring him out.
Come on, babe. I hate force handling my animals.
No, I'm
And
the same.
all the lights just went off. So he's a little spastic, but I'm hoping that he will behave here shortly. Come on, buddy. Oh, there he goes. Come on. So it's nice with like having socialized monitor lizards specifically is that once they see food, they're normally pretty keened in.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't feed rodents, but it gets them really riled up.
Oh, my goodness.
Normally he'll jump out of the enclosure and just jump
Oh,
right
cool.
on me. But
if I was ever going to have a monitor, you're holding the one I would definitely have.
oh yeah, these Maruki animals are very, very special. Very seldom seen here in the States, but in Europe, they're one of the more common green tree monitor localities that are worked with. Okay, get back in the cage. Get back in the cage. Oh, now he's just cruising, but yeah. What's really cool with green tree monitors is their intelligence. You can kind of put them in the same category as like everyone's seen Jurassic Park, right? But the Velociraptor intelligence, you can take like a little wiffle ball and put a dubia roach in it, and they'll take these long hands that they have and go in the holes and grab the roach and pull it out, and it's just really cool behavior to see.
That's amazing.
It's hard to tell on camera, but every single step he's taking, those nails are just razor sharp, and he is just tearing me up.
See, and that's why I don't keep, because I know I would just be shredded all the time.
Oh yeah, people think that I have just self-harm issues, but no, I just keep my monitor lizards. But it makes sense,
right?
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense because they live a highly arboreal lifestyle, so they need to have those sharp claws to be able to traverse the trees in Indonesia and do all the things that they need to do. But yeah,
you don't trim nails with monitors, right?
So some people do trim their monitor lizard nails, but I believe that if you give them, stones or tree branches and stuff to kind of wear away at it, that you don't really need to.
Makes sense.
Like my outdoor monitor lizards, they do not have trimmed nails by any means, but I also feed like adult quail sometimes, and it gets pretty gnarly and pretty messy. And
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's nice for them to be able to take care of that themselves and me not have to intervene. Trying to get this set up here where
nobody wants to have to intervene with the feed, especially the messy ones.
No. Like a lot of these monitor lizards, they'll take their claws and just like gut the prey item, and it's just.
How often do you feed your monitors? Is it different for each one?
So I don't. A lot of my animals are not on a strict feed schedule. I have been able to kind of develop the ability to just kind of look at them and see who needs a meal and who doesn't. With monitors specifically, I take a look at their bellies. It's called a lateral fold. It's the horizontal line that goes across their stomach. And when they are depleted of a meal, there's excess skin that kind of sticks out and it flattens out, like it tapers out like that. So when I see that they're more tapered out to the sides like that, I'm like, okay, it's time to feed these guys. And I'll feed a large meal until they're full and their bodies will swell up to like a more rounded state. Then they'll bask for a couple days, have a defecation, and then over the next couple days, you'll see their body kind of go back to that. Once I see that lateral fold in the side of them, that's when I decide to feed. So it can be 2 times a week. It could be 1 time a week. It depends the time of year because I change all of the wattages on my light bulbs throughout the year. I like to cool my animals in the winter period and then heat them up extra in the summer period. But it's really situational.
Okay. I've always wondered.
Yeah. So
with my
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, with my bearded, I had to feed him daily. So that was years ago, though.
Oh yeah, it was probably a young animal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and bearded dragon poop is gnarly. Like I have
No.
monitors, but I don't miss dealing with bearded dragons.
He was my daughter's, so
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I ended up taking care of it, of course. So
Oh yeah, checks out. I worked at a reptile store, and that really got me into it. It's one of the nicest reptile stores here in Arizona. It's Predator's Reptile Center.
he wants
But
how funny.
dealing in the actual pet trade, the industry side of it, that was the story you always heard is, parents getting a reptile for their children. And, oh, my 10-year-old is the most responsible kid ever. They're going
Yep.
to take care of it. And then they come back 3 months later, like, this kid doesn't want anything to do with it. Now it's my animal. So I always
Yep.
tell people, get the animal that you want. Don't get the animal your kid wants because you're going to get stuck with it. So always just bite the bullet and just get what you think is cool, because at the end of the day, if you're paying for it, it's gonna end up being yours, right?
That's a smart piece of advice for sure.
So
How cool this one wants out already.
This next lizard, he is very, very special to me. So I have a buddy. His name is Mason Barnes. He is a very prominent Varanus breeder. He works with lace monitors, a little bit of tree monitors, mostly Australia stuff. But what he's really known for is Varanus coming eye, the yellow-headed water monitor. And he lived in Arizona a little bit over a year ago, and he had to move to Tennessee, and he had a clutch of these yellow-headed water monitors that were incubating, and he didn't have faith in the eggs making it through traveling to Tennessee. So he asked me to incubate the last clutch that he had. And in doing so, he was going to entrust me with one of the babies. And this is one of the babies. His
Beautiful.
name is Arau. Arau in the Philippines means sunshine, which is pretty fitting since he's a yellow-headed water monitor. He'll be bright yellow.
And they're so beautiful.
Oh, so stunning. And what's really cool with this guy is that, like, I literally hatched him out of the egg, and he crawled out of the egg onto my hand. And since then, we've just developed a really cool bond to where he trusts me entirely. If he bites me right now, it's totally cool. Like, I smell like rats. I'm not using tongs. Like, I'm just hand feeding him and stuff. But for the most part, he's a very good boy, and we've developed a really cool relationship. And
I'd have to keep them too if they came out of the egg at me.
Oh my God. So he is the only one out of his clutch that is in the States still. All of his siblings went up to Canada to be the first group of coming eye into Canada. So all of his siblings are first time animals in that country. From a very, very nice line of coming eye. Mason did a really good job of acquiring his breeder animals, and their smoke shows. But
how big are these guys going to get?
So they are, essentially an Asian water monitor, but they are a smaller species of monitor. Males, a big male. Robert Ballin has a big male named Triton. He's with Farmhouse Reptiles. And that's like the biggest coming eye I've ever seen. And he is 5.5, maybe 6 feet.
Oh, wow.
And that's a monster. And he's an absolute monster. Well behaved, but just size wise, he's a giant.
Nick
but
has one too. That's
it's like
big.
3.5, 4 feet for a male, and then 3 feet for a female.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. And they're like in the medium size as far as monitors go, right? Like they're more...
especially for water monitors. Yeah, they're definitely a medium-sized Varanid.
Definitely not your beginner monitor, though, right?
No, definitely not. And that's an interesting topic that you kind of bring up, is a beginner monitor, right? Because everyone...
Is there one?
Everyone typically recommends like an Ackie monitor for being your beginner monitor, but I truly think that if I started with an Ackie monitor, I wouldn't be like anywhere near where I was or where I am right now. I started with an Argus monitor, a little hatchling Argus monitor, and just learned to bond with him, as he grew, and it really sparked a passion and really drove me into Varanus. I think if I started with an Aki, I would probably still have an Aki and like not really want to branch out and explore more. There's nothing
Why
wrong
is
with
that?
Aki monitors. They're a smaller species of monitor. They're essentially bearded dragon size, but a monitor lizard. So for people that are kind of not wanting to go too hard into reptiles, great monitor lizard. But I knew from the get-go that I was the extremist, right? So I'm just glad with the way that I started.
Yeah. Is it just that you just wanted the bigger ones and that's why the Aki didn't fit, or?
I think that, so I've worked with a couple of different Aki monitors and, talked with people that keep Aki monitors, and it's a personality thing. I think when you get into a certain size of lizard, that it opens up a new door of characteristics and personality wise. Like, Aki monitors definitely can have a personality, but being able to walk outside, and when I walk past my Argus monitor's enclosure, he'll stand up on his hind legs and look over and just be like, "What are you doing?" It's called tripoding. And like, you're not going to see that with Aki monitor. Like, I'm taking out the garbage and he's just standing up like, "What are you doing?"
He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that if I didn't experience unique behavior like that from a larger lizard, I wouldn't have been intrigued to see what else is out there, right? I think if I would have stayed in that little comfort zone that everyone kind of recommends and suggests, I wouldn't have felt the confidence and inquisitiveness of branching out and seeing what else is out there. So
that's fair.
That's where I started, was with the lizards, and then kind of broke into the snakes a little bit,
It's kind of like when people get like maybe a snake, like a ball python that's hidden, and maybe they're like, oh, they're not really interactive, and maybe that's fair. So.
Totally. I feel like a lot of people go, there's nothing wrong with ball pythons. I don't own any. I don't plan on owning any. Yeah, absolutely, Tristan. They're definitely more outgoing. But for ball pythons, I don't see myself owning any or having any projects. But there's so many people that it's a perfect snake for, right? And then there's also the group of people that they thought that was the perfect snake, and they brought it home, set it up real nice, and they have an empty tank syndrome, right? Where this snake just stays in the hide all day. Granted, in the evening, it's probably out cruising, doing its thing, but during the daytime when everyone's out looking at it, they're not seeing anything. And I think the natural branch from that ball python into, hey, I want something that's a little bit more engaging, a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more visual, I can see during the daytime, they go carpets, right?
Yep, that's what I did.
And then once you get carpets, you're like, oh, arboreal snakes are pretty sweet. Yeah, carpets, they're semi-arboreal, right? They're like half and half. But once you see a snake on a branch in the middle of the day doing its thing, like, nothing beats it, right? So
yeah, you can replace a TV for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a slippery slope. It's definitely.
How funny.
But I feel like that's a pretty good segue into getting into some snake stuff here. Or actually, maybe we do some monitor lizard stuff while the lights are still on. But so behind me, we were talking about the crocodile monitors.
The big guys.
Yes. So I recently, within early September, kind of was talking to a gentleman about acquiring his crocodile monitor. And one thing led to another, and it ended up here. Built this big cage for it. And then I had a buddy that I'd been talking to, and he's moving to Texas, and he needed a place to how is his male? And we kind of started chatting. And I was like, well, I have a male, or you have a male, I have a female. Let's, see if we can get them to pair up and breed. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Long term, I think I definitely want to work with more localities of crocodile monitors, but right now I just have these guys. The female, she is not as calm and tame as my male, but
And that's by design, you said earlier, right?
correct.
Thank you, Aaron. And your ball pythons are beautiful. Oh, the hisses.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Are you getting both out?
It
Oh
kind
my
of
goodness.
that way.
Wow.
All right, let's get her back in there. Okay. All right. So this here is Isaac.
Goodness.
His nails are insane. He's just shredding me right now.
Yeah, I feel terrible.
No, don't feel terrible. I live for this stuff. But Isaac is about 4 years old, maybe a little bit older. But he is a large animal. He's been in captivity for almost 3 years now. So he came in as a very young imported crocodile monitor. He is a Maruki locality animal. Marukis are known for staying slightly smaller than the other localities of crocodile monitors, but it's kind of hard to tell here. Hold on. I got this light here. Should help a little bit.
Oh, I love their faces so much.
Right. That's exactly what I was getting at. So Maruki locality animals, they have this gold mask, and it just kind of spreads throughout their face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as I spin here, so his back, you can see he's got spotting, right? But
yeah,
Maruki locality animals, their spotting is going to be significantly more broken up than a Jayapura or Sarong locality animal.
Mm-hmm.
The Sarong Vogelkopf animals, they have really large, pronounced ocelli, which are going to be circles on their back.
Oh my gosh, he's magnificent, Ben.
He's being a good.
So the male monitors are bigger than the females in the monitor world?
Correct. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What a perfect shot.
Oh yeah, he's a dream. The female, not so much. She is very testy, which like we kind of talked about, is by design, right? They have a much more important job. They have to prolong the species. Males, all they really care about, eating food, and pardon my French, getting some booty, right? Their job is easy.
How funny.
Their job is very, very easy in the world of reptilia. But females, they have to worry about copulating, which can be dangerous for them. Males are always significantly larger, and if it doesn't go smooth, they can be injured. If everything goes well, then they have to find a nesting zone to where they can confidently nest these eggs to keep the species going.
And will you be separating them when you think she's gravid?
Absolutely. So she'll have free roam of this enclosure here. Oh, come on, buddy. You're killing me, buddy. Good man. So yeah, once I see good copulation on these guys, I will be separating and letting her have full access to the enclosure. She has a couple different nesting sites in there underneath
It's a great enclosure.
Thank you. There's a pond right there, and underneath that pond is that pond's sitting on cinder blocks. So there's a hollow space underneath. So there is a hollow hide that she can have full access to with a it's like a livestock heat mat, but
Okay.
a protected heat pad.
Oh, so like huge.
Yeah, it's like this big.
Wow.
And she can go and regulate to where she thinks her perfect. Yeah, he's awesome.
I was going to ask you what you use for heat sources in an enclosure that big, but a livestock heat mat.
So for the floor, just for her lay area, that's what she gets. And then on this side, there is a heat pad on the exterior that heats this bottom wall to 85, 87 degrees. And then everything's on a timer, but up in this area, there's a cutout to where on top there's a 400 watt gold infrared heat emitter.
Wow. 400.
It's
my biggest
insane.
is 250.
It is insane. It's by Reptile.
I didn't know they
Systems.
made that big.
Neither did I, but I started working at the Reptile store, and I live in Arizona, so it's very common for people to keep the reptiles outside just because it gets so hot, right? But in the wintertime, it gets cold, so people got to figure out what to do. And those heat emitters, amazing.
I'm going to have to look into that one when I get my bigger enclosure, because I'm like, I don't know what 250 I thought was the biggest, but that'll work. So.
Yep, no, that totally works. And the 400 watt gets this ledge to 150 degrees.
Holy cow. Yeah.
So they go and
That'll
cook
work.
in. When they're on a full stomach, they'll go sit there half an hour, 40 minutes, cook their stomachs, and then go chill to the cooler side of the enclosure. But they have a really big temperature gradient to where they can get down into the low 70s in some places and then cook themselves up to 150. So they have everything they need.
150, 15 or 50?
150.
Oh my gosh. I was he's not saying 150, is he? That's wild.
Oh yeah. I mean, when they are on a full stomach, they are eating 1.5 to adult size Coturnix quail.
Goodness.
They have a full stomach, so they like to cook themselves. When I spray on the heat side or whatever, when it's at full temperature for the day, it doesn't sizzle, but you can see it steaming up just right when it hits the rock, and they love it. They love it.
That's wild. I would have never guessed that.
Oh yeah, those big monitor lizards, especially if you're trying to cycle for breeding, it's important to have those high temperatures. All year long, I don't provide 150. I will cool it periodically throughout the year and whatnot. But yeah, my Argus monitors, I've seen him bask at 160 surface temperature for 2-3 hours. It's insane.
That's insane. But I guess if they were out in the wild and it was a really hot day, a rock could, that makes sense.
100%.
I just wouldn't have expected that.
I've temped the ground out here in Arizona, on our hottest days, and blacktop will reach almost 200 degrees. You're never going to find a lizard just cooking itself on the blacktop, but it kind of puts things into perspective. That sun doesn't play around,
Yeah, no. How cool. 150. I'm going to have to remember that. Goodness.
Oh, yeah. But for the snakes, nothing reaches more than 2 degrees.
You would,
92, I'm like,
it.
ah!
It's gonna die. I had somebody tell me to keep my Brettles at 100 when I got not him, but I got a second one, and they were like, "Oh, the hotspot 100." I'm like, "No."
Yeah, maybe a hotspot this big in the back corner, maybe.
Yeah, one little section is reading that.
Yeah, everything else, maybe not, but
yeah.
But yeah,
perfect.
So I'd say that's probably about it for lizards that we'll be showing tonight. I would love to show the outdoor enclosure, but
it's late. Probably where you are, it's probably dark, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For you as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It gets dark right around 7 right now, right around 7:30. So
Yep, just about the same. So for some of these snakes here, I think I'm gonna start with some of the colubrids that I work with because I don't work with many, but the ones that I do, I really do enjoy. So
I'm interested to see which ones you are into. I didn't even realize you had colubrids.
yeah. So the one that I'm gonna start off with is probably going to be one of my favorites, and I spoke earlier about.
Oh, I didn't know this guy was a colubrid. I knew you had this one.
Oh yeah, the Barons Racers.
Wow.
Yep.
And zoom
So
in. This
this
guy's
is
cool.
a blue Barons Racer. This animal is a little bit more special than most blue Barons Racers, which is kind of crazy to say, but this animal is showing a lot of melanism
Oh
throughout
wow.
its back and then on its stomach. When it gets into adulthood, we're hoping that it'll be a really dark animal, but a blue Barons of this size should have a very pale stomach or a very blue stomach, but you can see a lot of darkness kind of coming in throughout its entire body.
That's pretty unusual for them, right? They're usually like a vibrant green, right?
Yeah,
Or
vibrant green, blue. In captivity, the greens are going to be the most common. In the wild, the browns are going to be the most common. In captivity, the browns and the blues are going to be the most sought after because they're the rarest color forms that we see here in captivity.
Mhm.
Outside of the yellow color form of the Barons Racer is like uber rare, and I've only seen a handful of them, and they're never available for purchase. Breeders will always hold those back.
All those. So
Yeah.
they can give birth to any color.
Yep. So
Yeah, like a
I
viper.
was talking about working with my buddy Bailey and kind of helping manage his collection of snakes. And he's the one that got me into the Barons Racers. He has a large group of maybe close to 20 animals, uh, 7, 10-ish breeder age animals, and then a lot of grow outs, hold back stuff that we're going to sell. But we've done blue to blue pairings, blue to brown pairings, and green to blue pairings. And we haven't really figured out what makes what hit. And other Barons Racers breeders we're all trying to figure out
It's just
what the
random.
key is. It kind of
Yeah.
seems like it's random. I think blue to blue, you're going to get them. If you go color, the same color to same color, you're going to end up with the majority of that color, but it's never guaranteed. The blue, some people will say, is axanthic, kind of like the iguanas, like a green
Mhm.
iguana. They say a blue iguana is a xanthic green iguana, and there's
Okay.
speculation as to the barons kind of being the same way as that.
Yeah, I guess blue and green's on the same. Okay.
Right. And then like axanthism pulling a little bit of the, different color spectrum I could see where that comes from. But yeah, no one has it coined, no one has it figured out yet, but maybe in 10 years we'll have a better idea. But
The-
my goal long term is I really like dark animals, right? So I have a lot of weird melanistic projects. Like that's my jam. I like
I
dark
totally agree
animals
with
that
that.
shouldn't be dark.
Yeah. So are these guys like kind of arboreal?
Super arboreal. You will find them on the ground, but for the most part, they're going to be up in branches. They're from Argentina. A lot of people think Argentina is going to be like this rainforesty atmosphere, but it snows. There's deserts in Argentina. Like it's almost
Really?
yeah, it's almost like a humid air, dry atmosphere, right? So or I guess we achieve good husbandry with these guys using aspen bedding, or if you use, we like the paper bedding just because we deal with so many animals and colubrids poop so much.
Oh,
So
I know.
yeah. And like the smell of their poop is just like so recognizable. It's the worst.
I can't do them because of that. So like I have to keep a clean house, and I love so many colubrids, but if I had to walk in every 2 days and smell it, it would just drive me nuts.
Yeah, it's horrible. It is horrible. Bioactive helps too, but also when you're doing like stuff at a bigger scale, the idea of having like intentional creepy crawlies on your snakes is just kind of like worrisome, right? So I like a sterile keeping. Yeah,
I agree.
monitor poop is the worst, but yeah, you can keep these guys nice and good as long as you got like a big water bowl and a little bit of heat. You don't want to cook them too much, but I keep a lot of my snakes in that room that we were in earlier, ambient. I heat the room. Between heating the room, having LED lights above everything, and then the monitor lizard enclosures, it gets to like 82 degrees ambient in there. And then on perches, where the LED lights are, it's like 86 to 87 degrees for the most part. So
and that does work for the green trees.
That works for the green tree pythons. That works for these guys. The stuff in the snake rack has constant heat on a thermostat to part of it, but for the most part, everything's kind of ambient.
Okay. That's amazing. I wish I could do a room. Not wish. I can't wait till I get to a place where I can do an ambient room.
It
At
is.
some point, I'll enlist the husband.
Yep. Baby steps.
Yeah.
The goal long term for myself and then my buddy Bailey is we've definitely outgrown our spaces. He has a really badass setup. He's got like a 30-foot long shipping container that was they poured a foundation in his backyard, and then he had a crane drop that shipping container on the foundation, and he totally renovated and finished it. And that's the facility, right? So I go over there twice a week and manage and clean all of his animals and stuff like that. But he's outgrown that space. I've outgrown my house. So long term, we're looking to find a facility that we can rent out and kind of really start pumping the reptile stuff here
together. That's really cool plan.
We have our individual projects, right? For sure. But then we also have joint projects that we're working on. And it just makes more sense to put it in a big shared space because he already pays me to like help manage his reptiles. He's like, well, if I give you a space to put all of your reptiles, just take care of my reptile. It's like a win-win-win type. And he's a good friend. And so I was lucky enough to be in a situation where that can happen, and not everyone is going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, that's pretty blessed. That's a pretty good blessing to have somebody that can do that, and then also be into the same type of reptiles or similar.
Totally, and be a good person too, like behind it. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
All right. So
who we got next?
I am thinking colubrid still. This one's a pretty sweet one. So the Barons Racers, they're from South America. Now we're going to jump across the pond and step into Asia. This is a yearling Boega Sienia.
Oh my gosh, it's a dream snake.
Oh yeah. So this is a female animal that I got from HD Serpents. He is consistently breeding Boega. Couple different species, but I really got a hankering for the green-eyed cat snakes. So this is a female, very young. You can see it has a lot of red on it still. It's hard to pick up on camera here, but that head is super green.
So cool. You can't tell, but my face is right up to the computer too.
That green will wash out into its entire body as it grows into adulthood. And if I'm lucky enough, it will kind of break into a blue pattern as well. But yeah,
a cool snake.
Oh yeah, super, super cool. I want to work with more Boega, but I'm just kind of pacing myself.
At some point I will get a Boega. I just have to have like the permits and all the ridiculous things that Idaho has first. So
Oh,
yeah.
so Idaho, you have to kind of deal with stuff on the rear thing because it's rear finged, or
Yep. So Idaho, I have to, from what I was told, I could be corrected, but I have to keep a rattlesnake that I caught or saved in quotation for, and then have to work with somebody for 500 hours in order to have a Boega. And I'm like, I don't
what?
know if I want, I know if I, and that's what I was told. I don't know if I want to keep a rattlesnake, which there's nothing against that, but I don't know if I have the skill set for something that's actually able to harm me in a little way like that. So
Totally.
at some point I'll figure it out. But we might be moving to Florida, so that might change. So
Oh, nice, nice. Oh, well, I think Florida, I don't know if you're allowed to keep a wig in Florida, but for Idaho,
okay.
that's kind of lame. Because yeah, I definitely wouldn't compare. Like I keep and take care of rattlesnakes, so I would definitely not compare this to anything like a rattlesnake. So I feel like I'd be setting you up for failure.
Yeah, they're pretty strict on the venomous and that like Gila monsters because we're so close to Arizona, we can't have those. So I'm like, okay, I can't have either of my venomous that I would like to keep.
Yep,
Oh,
Arizona is very similar. You're not allowed to keep venomous reptiles other than native wildlife, excluding the Gila monster because it is a federally protected animal.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, we're only allowed to keep our native rattlesnake species, and that's really about it. Which for me, that's enough. I never thought I would keep venomous in my entire life, and you know, worked with a couple rattlesnakes. So it's like this is bitching. You can set them up real nice in a really cool habitat, naturalistic, and just let them do their thing. Cohab, don't cohab, like.
That's cool. I like the cohab part, but still not not for me. I would try to make friends, and I just don't need to be one of those people that makes it worse for the reptile industry.
You know, I tip my hat to you on that
Yeah.
because there are so many people that they build the connection with the rattlesnake and they they post these videos hanging out with their rattlesnake, and like you said, it's not a good look for
No.
the community. While she was down here, I figured I'd take the opportunity to grab her, but
She is
so
a
this
lot
is
smaller. Goodness.
significantly smaller than the male, but this is the ocelli that I was talking about.
Love those
Where
spots.
right, his is significantly more broken up than hers. Hers are almost those perfect circles, right? And that's indicative of the sarong or Jayapura type animals. And you can see her face doesn't have that gold mask as much. All right, all right.
You can really see how intelligent they are. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, they're rad. When you're working with them, like hands on, their pupils they dilate, and like you can see when they're thinking. It's pretty crazy. And she tells me like when she wants to come out, I can tell that she was wanting to because she was just up at the glass like, come on, dude.
She's like, my turn now.
Yeah, for sure. My boyfriend got out. Come on.
Just
She
like
was
a
really,
woman, not on your time.
yeah. She was a special case. No hate to the person that I got her from. He was just doing the best that he could. He runs a reptile rescue up in northern Arizona, and a police officer had surrendered her to him because he was busy. He didn't have the space nor the amount of time to put into an animal like that. So he was taking care of her for a while, and while he was taking care of her, everything was going well and whatnot. But he had to travel out of country, go overseas for a little bit, and someone was watching his reptile collection that wasn't the most experienced, and they left a live rat in with her, and I guess the heat had turned off, so she basically went into like a cooling mode and went to sleep, and the rat kind of messed her up a bit. So when I got her, she had big gouges in her face and flesh missing out of her back and stuff like that. So she's been on a long road recovery since early November, but like night and day. You know, it was sad seeing like those scabs starting to form, and as she's shedding, you know, it's getting better and better, but it's really nice and rewarding to see her color coming back and the scales, you know, healing and stuff like that. But yeah, she was in rough shape when I first got her, but you know, nothing the little TLC can't fix.
Well, I'm glad that she has you to nurse her back to health. That's so sad. A lot of people don't realize how dangerous those live feedings can actually be.
Anything bigger than a hopper mouse is like
Untrustworthy?
gnarly.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff with live rodents.
A friend of mine just got a ball python for her daughter. She's like 17, so she's old enough to handle it,
Yeah.
but she only eats live, and they've tried everything, and I'm like, oh no. Like, as that snake gets bigger, I hope it changes.
For sure. For sure. You know, hot take over here on my end, but I truly don't have an issue with fasting an animal. Obviously not to the point where you start seeing spine, you know, coming up, but if you're not seeing weight loss in that animal, just wait it out. Just wait it out until it's hungry, and they'll take the frozen thawed animal. Like, you know, especially a ball python. Like, that animal is not plucked out of the wild. That is a captive bred animal. There's something.
And it was Fred frozen thawed at the breeder. So I'm like, how? Yeah, it's just being picky now.
Yeah. In my opinion, just let it chill. Yeah. I had a buddy that had a 23-year-old ball python. He's like, I feed this thing like 2-3 times a year, and it doesn't lose a single gram. Like, this thing just does what it wants, and it eats when it wants, and it stays the same weight all year round. Like,
isn't that nuts how they get to a certain age? A friend of mine had a 14-year-old, and he only eats like 3 months out of the year, and just like she's like, I offer, and he not interested. They self-regulate at like a certain age, I think.
Totally. Especially if they're, you know, staying pretty dormant and chilling. Yeah. I'd say it's pretty average. All right.
And we fast our carpet, so you would think, you know, we would understand a fast from a ball python.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not really, yeah. I think it's just alarming to people to not feed their reptiles.
Because it's the most fun part, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what they are.
Or there's something wrong with them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the last colubrid here that I'm going to pull out is a Chinese beauty rat snake. These guys are pretty flighty.
Ooh.
Very squirmy. They will calm down eventually here, as long as they don't get stuck in the dog crate underneath.
Thank you, Hubs Reptiles. Oh my gosh.
So this is a morph beauty rat snake. This is a platinum calico.
I was gonna say, I've never seen one this color. I was expecting the more normal color.
For sure.
Wow.
So this animal is pretty white for the most part. I got some pretty poor lighting here, but it's got specks of orange, brown, tan, you know, your typical calico coloration. But I have a 1.1. Yeah, there you go, Hubs. Arizona represent. But yeah,
so
I've got a pair of these guys, so I'm growing them out, and the next couple of years here, I'll be able to pair them. See, now they're calming down a little bit.
What age do you breed those out? Look at that face. It's kind of got the beauty face a little bit still. That's cool.
Absolutely, that masking.
Mm-hmm.
Settle down.
That like kind of raccoon stripe that they get.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
right there.
You have me looking at. I'm going to be on Morph Market. Are these available often, or are they pretty rare? I've never seen one like this.
I will be super honest. When I first started working for my buddy, I vended a show for him, and I told him that I was just going to do it free, and he was like, "Well, that's not how things work." And he had an extra pair of these guys, so he paid me in a pair of these.
Great deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are imported animals, but they're not wild caught. Obviously, it's pretty hard to get, wild caught morphs. But in Asia, these beauty snakes are bred so frequently and so commonly. They honestly are bred for the food market. Like, it's crazy. They have huge warehouses of just like rooms of all these beauty rat snakes, and they just collect eggs and stuff. So
I'm so glad I've never seen anything like that. That would break my heart.
yeah, it is pretty sad. It's just a different world over there, right?
That's true.
It's hard to compare it to modern
Anything?
Western civilization. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We don't know, but here in the States, yeah, I would say that they're not very common, but they are obtainable. In Asia, you could probably get this thing at the grocery store, but
What a crazy thing to pick up. Now I'm gonna have to tell my husband we're going to Asia to get some snakes. I'm kidding.
oh yeah, kidding.
Definitely gonna be on Morph Market looking now.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely send you any links that I find.
And in their own right, the regular beauty snakes, I mean, they got the name for out of somewhere, but they are stunning.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
We work with the Chinese beauties, the morph ones. I have my pair, and then Bailey still has a pair of his, so we will be able to offer unrelated bloodlines eventually. We also work with the Vietnamese blue beauties. He has a pair of those. Big pair.
My favorite.
They're big and they're really cool. The female, she's squirrely, but the male, he's handleable. We're going to be pairing those guys up next week. And then we have the Taiwanese beauty rat snakes, and not my jam. And I think it's just because I care for them more, right? Like, I take care of them, and they're not nice. Like, they're not nice snakes.
Hot take on that one. Jeez, I had no idea that they were feisty, but you see the pretty photos taken.
Oh, beautiful snakes, but man, not nice.
Are they just cage lungers or just not holdable, or
cage
all the above?
And I haven't broken the barrier of like, let's get you out and deal with a couple face strikes and then see where it goes from there. I'm like, get got the snake hook, change the water bowl, call it a day. Like, not my jam. But
you have to do a reel of that.
Oh yeah, I bet it would do well. All the snake bite ones do well.
Yeah. All right. So last colubrid, who's next?
That was the last colubrid. I think I'm going to do the few boa species that I have, and then we can work into some python stuff.
I just recently found out you had a Jamaican, right?
Speak of the devil, that's what I'm pulling.
Is that what you're getting? I just recently learned about these boas, and I'm obsessed. I don't need to be obsessed about a new species, but they are incredible.
Oh, yeah. Now that he's out of his enclosure and he's been sitting in a tub for the last 40 minutes, he's so stoked to be handled.
I'm sure. Oh, no.
So the only gripe I have with the Jamaican boas is the ones that I have worked with tend to be a little ornery, a little feisty, and my biggest gripe, please don't bite me in the face.
Oh my gosh.
Is anytime you go to handle these guys, they will musk.
Oh.
All over you. And it's like just a really gnarly musk.
Well, thank you, Ben. You just talked me out of my new obsession. Thank you for that.
Anytime. I have worked, this is the only one that I have in my collection, but Bailey has a pair that I take care of. And they're all the same. They'll come out swinging. They musk all over you. I have yet to meet a very nice one, but I've heard they're out there. I've heard it's possible.
Yeah, I don't like the musking. I can't do that. If the musking is a common trait, nope. My husband's probably going to be happy to hear me say all that because I've been totally eyeballing a couple that were on there.
Absolutely. They are cool because they are an ESA listed species. You know, they are only allowed in interstate commerce, so they can't leave state lines unless you have CITES paperwork to confirm that they are allowed to. But they come in, you know, really wide color spectrum. This
The
animal,
bright reds.
mhm.
Oh,
This animal is going in the shed, but he normally displays a lot of those nice red colors, and they can be nice, like a tan brown or a paler brown too. But I'm more of a fan of the red animals. But
even the yellowish ones they're all cool. I haven't found one that I don't like, so they're
I don't
beautiful.
think there's a bad Jamaican boa. You know,
Yeah.
I really don't. They're strong. Like this isn't a big animal, but like trying to get it off of my hand when it's all perched up is a task.
Sure.
Mm.
How big do these guys get?
They are Jamaica's largest predator. They can get easily 6 feet. You know, not crazy thick, but Tom Crutchfield has some animals that he keeps outside, and they're substantial animals. You're
No idea.
making me jealous, man. What's cool with these guys is in nature, they're going to be on the outskirts of caves, and they're going to be bat eaters, almost
Oh.
specifically. So I try to feed birds the most part, but they are not picky. They're great eaters.
So a lot like most arboreal. They're arboreal, right? Or
Yeah, I would
semi.
say they're about as arboreal as a scrub python or a carpet python.
Okay. How
So
cool.
they will be on the ground on occasion, but if you give them perches, they will use them for sure.
Well, he seemed pretty well behaved.
Yeah, when I opened up the tub, he struck at me 3 times. So I'm glad that was on camera. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great!"
Oh no.
But yeah, no,
We
he
don't
did
need
good.
any of those.
Everyone's behaving for the show and tell, so
Yeah.
no complaints.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, big thank yous, guys. And you may have noticed, but I do like to change gloves in between each animal. A lot of people will think that just having gloves on in general, it makes them sterile. But if you change a water bowl with gloves on and then you go to change a new water bowl, like it's the same as using your hands. It's when you start taking them off and changing in between, that's when you're sterile. So the glove bill is high here, but it's worth it.
Yeah, especially when you have a lot of wild caught, right?
Yep. So everything that I pulled out so far has all been captive bred. This is going to be my first wild caught animal. It is a long-term captive, but it is from the wild. This animal is pretty special to me. I really do enjoy emerald tree boas, but specifically, I like the Guyana locality animals just a little bit
So
more.
funny.
Oh, please. This is definitely not one that I want to get bit by, but
Nope.
they have the largest teeth of any non-venomous snake on the planet. Oh, please don't do it.
Oh my god, you're making me nervous.
But the Guyana animals, they tend to have a lot more yellows on their
So
body.
beautiful. I don't know why I zoomed out. Oh my gosh.
So he is a male. He's my first emerald tree boa, and I've learned a lot about the species from this guy. I definitely want to get a Guyana.
Spots for these.
You said what?
I didn't know there was different spots for these guys.
Yeah, I would say I wish the camera got it, but he just struck the iPad, so I'm getting.
Oh goodness. Not the
Um,
bite we want to see, I promise, guys. You don't want to see any bites, but you don't want to see this bite.
Totally. All right, buddy. But yeah, these guys are commonly found in Suriname and then Guyana as well. I think the Guyana animals are a little bit more uncommon. The Surinams are going to be what you see in the trade more often. But at the end of the day, it is an emerald tree boa. They are in the same species. It is Corallus caninis. Oh, there's a settle down. He didn't even hit anything in his. Yeah, right. He's just striking the air, pissed off. But
as long as it's not you.
Yeah, I'll probably stop testing my luck here in a second. But
said I'd still boob. How cute.
Yeah. So Thursdays are typically my maintenance and feeding day. So everyone is riled up thinking they're going to get a meal or something, but
it's evening, so definitely.
Exactly. Lights are all off. They're like, why am I out right now? What is happening? But
is that the same one in the picture that's wrapped around your head?
Yeah, he's not always an ass.
Yeah. So at night, I don't know if you want to say, but at night they're generally a little bit more amped up, right? You get different personalities.
Absolutely. So during the daytime, all these arboreal snakes, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be on their perch, sitting there doing nothing. I can go in, change their water bowl. They're asleep for the most part, even though snakes don't really sleep. But in the evening, it is a light switch, right? The evening is their daytime. A lot of these snakes are nocturnal, and they're going to be actively looking for food in the darkness, right? So if I go into the reptile room when the lights are off, all you hear is kind of walking past everything because everything's striking at the glass, wanting to eat me and kill me. But
yeah,
that's how I like my reptiles, man. I don't know. Like,
hungry.
I'm not hungry and good food response, and I don't know. Call me crazy. I like holding some of my stuff, but for the most part, I don't need to cuddle with it. If I look at it and it looks healthy and it's got no stuck shed and it has a good response, like that's enough for me. It's a snake. I want it to be a snake, right? So
enjoy its life, yeah, for sure.
Right. But yeah. Now we can dive into the Python world with some of my favorite projects. I haven't successfully bred any snakes yet. Lizards come a little bit easier to me. I've bred green keeled belly lizards and Argus monitors, but I haven't been able to crack the snake code yet. I haven't.
Well, the monitors in their own right are pretty hard to breed, so still a good athlete. So
not the worst, but I can't wait to produce my own snakes, right? And this
especially the pythons.
Yeah, especially pythons. Please be nice. So this is a project that I am very excited to be working on.
I'm going to zoom in. That thing is beautiful.
So this is a barneck scrub python, Somalia amazenia.
So dark.
Right, exactly. So as we were talking about earlier, is I tend to lean towards the dark animals, especially in animals that are not typically known for presenting those dark characteristics. Whoa. Oh, there we go. All right. So this animal is produced by TJ Chambers. He is a snake breeder here in Arizona. He specializes in, I would say, carpet pythons for the most part, but he was able to produce these barneck scrub pythons, and a few of them came out exceptionally dark.
Yeah, that is not common for anybody watching this or playback or anything. That is not a common at all. That is a very special snake.
So
wow,
the female is significantly darker than the male, but the male.
Oh, you got two dark ones?
Yeah, I got a pair of
Oh,
really, really dark ones. So I'm really
you're gonna
excited.
have some beautiful babies in the future.
I sure do hope so. I'll be stoked to have them grow into adulthood. But if I could produce them, even better, right?
Yeah.
Even better. I don't right now I have a day job. So a lot of my time goes into that. I'm not home as much as I would like to. So right now I'm okay with just growing stuff up and just making sure it has a good life, everything's taken care of well. I'm not in a rush to breed stuff. But anything that I can breed, is a plus.
Yeah.
I think long term I definitely just want to be a reptile man, right? I don't want to go clock in for anyone anymore. I'm over it. I just want to do my own thing and just work with animals.
Have a passion. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's a couple years out from being to that point, but that's definitely long term where I want to be. I want to be able to provide captive bred reptiles to more like minded individuals and hopefully reduce some of the wild caught stuff. And I'm a hypocrite because I do have a lot of that, but long term I'd like to not have any wild caught animals and just have captive bred animals and stuff like that.
Well, if it's hard to find the wild caught, the wild caught captively bred, it totally makes sense. So, yeah.
Right. Maybe in 10 years it'll be a different point, right? But it is what it is right now. The reptile industry is like right at this tipping point to where I think we're becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
I would say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we were extremely niche to where people were like, "Oh, you have a lizard in your house? What do you
And
mean?"
a snake?
And the snake? That's interesting. And now it's like, "Oh, wow, that's really cool. Like, how do you do that?
How do I get one?
How do I get one? What do I, what's the requirements? How do I research how to take care of this animal?" And I think we're stepping into a really positive light. Also, I think the hobby is shifting from look at how many animals I have, and it's going into look at how well I take care of the animals I have. Right?
Yes. Yep.
We're going
A lot
into
less tubs.
100%. A lot less tubs.
Which
A lot
I
less.
agree tubs are valuable, but yeah.
They have their place, but in a perfect world, I would love to have 0 snake racks in my collection personally. 0 tubs. I would love for everything to have their own enclosure. But it's just not realistic, right? Like I'm not going to put a baby Baron's racer or a baby green tree python that just hatched out of its egg into an exoterra. Like I'm just not going to do that, like
Yeah.
it needs a 6-quart tub with paper towel and a hide and a perch until it's had 10 meals. Like
Yep.
it's just in my opinion there's no way around it. It's just the nature of the trade, and that's just how it's going to be. But in a perfect world, yeah, I think every animal deserves to have a nice enclosure and have its space and ample ability to bask and hydrate, and but it's just where you're at.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Yep.
I try to do the bigger tubs because of that. So
Totally.
like I do that. Yeah.
I found that your animals grow faster too, which breeders are all like, "Yeah, I need that." But like, if you give them the space and the food, like, they'll grow. They'll do good.
My male carpet's showing that I put him in a 2x2x2, and then the female I got with him, which should be growing faster than him because they're both
Right.
Jags, but he is miles above her. They've never missed a meal, either one of them, but he is Matt. You would think that they were definitely not the same year, but they are. So
Totally. Watch her
cage
just flip
matters.
a switch eventually and just be like, "Oh, I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I've heard with carpets, it's a growth spurt times. Like they hit growth spurts and they grow really quickly in that growth spurt, and then they slow down and then they grow. So it's cool watching
That's what TJ said. I haven't worked with many carpets, but I keep that dude like on speed dial. And that dude's the goat. I really like him.
I'll have to follow him. I don't know if I follow a lot of people and I'm terrible with first names, but I'll have to look him up.
Chambers Serpents.
Oh, I do follow him. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's an Arizona boy. It's interesting keeping reptiles in Arizona. I feel like a lot of the country struggles to keep their animals warm, right? Like warm
Yep.
enough, and we're over here like, no, we need to figure out how to keep them cool. Like,
Turn the AC on.
yeah, totally. But yeah, no, I bounce ideas off of him all the time, and he's a wealth of knowledge. And he got me into my first like pair of scrubs, so like that's a good man, you know.
Yeah. Anybody who likes carpets, I think, gets into scrubs at some point, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of scrub, this is a cool story behind this. This is the first scrub python that I acquired, and I got this animal at a super show, my first super show in Pomona, from Indo Serpents. His name.
No,
is
I know him.
Yeah. So I was walking around. I was vending the show with camo cages, my buddy Bailey. And I was walking around. And I was like, oh, wow, what is this table? Very well lit booth. Very beautiful animals. The lighting isn't doing this animal justice at all. But like,
he has great enclosures too that he sets up at those booths, doesn't he? Yeah.
Totally, with like those shoe boxes with the LED lights and the perch on it. Like, it looks awesome. And then, and I believe, settle down. I believe at the last Super Show, he had a big, like 2x2x3 or something that he had a pair of bar necks in, which looked freaking sweet.
I seen photos and I was like, what a great setup, dude. If I ever did a booth, I'd want to do something like that for sure.
Absolutely. But he was doing this really, really cool thing where you enter in the raffle and, you know, however many people enter, it was your chance to win this snake. And this is like, you know, a very nice Highland scrub python. Some people will call these Highlands like a rainforest phase animal, but they are typically a patternless gold or tan color. And they'll have these, it's hard to see, but these little diamonds that go up their dorsal. And they can be different colored gold and stuff like that. But I was lucky enough to enter the raffle and win the raffle. So I was able to get this snake at an incredible price. Captain Red Highland Scrub Python from Indo Serpents. And this got me into scrub pythons, and it is a slippery slope.
Yeah. Check out Indo Serpents, guys, for some really great scrubs, for sure.
He just had some southern to bar neck crosses. So they're still Somalia Abyssinia. It's a species, the same species, but it's kind of like a locality cross, and he's got some really nice animals available.
Oh my gosh, she's cute. One more zoom in. She is so beautiful. What a score too.
Oh yeah, super sweet.
Do they musk a lot? Because I've heard mixed. I've heard mixed. Do they musk a lot?
So for the most part, no. But as you saw, this animal definitely took a strike at me not too long ago, and when it did that, it for sure musked at the same time, which isn't normal, I would say, for this animal or either of my bar necks. Like, they are never spazzy, never jump. I think it's just because I got a lot going on, and it was just sitting in a
it's night too.
Right, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I've had a wonderful experience with scrub pythons and them being very well-mannered and not the typical devils that they kind of get a rap for.
I feel terrible when I hear that. And you hear things like that about white lips, about so many snakes. So
totally. White lips, I think they're beautiful. I have had bad experience with white.
So you're like, actually, see, it's always mixed. You're like,
But you
Kyle's are
talk to
really
Kyle, and
cute,
he's like, they're dolls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but the ones I worked with at the reptile store, very bitey animals. You know, the
Very
adults, they
musky.
were very musky animals, but they were imported wild caught animals. You know, captive
Oh,
bred
okay.
stuff is probably going to be significantly better. But I was checking out my buddy's collection. His name is Alex. He goes by Panda's Fauna. Um,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure it was a southern white lip. But we were checking out some of his snakes, and he was opening up tubs and enclosures, and he has this hook specifically for opening up like certain tubs, and like that's weird. Like I haven't seen
Yeah.
that. He opens it up, this thing comes flying out. Fah! I'm like, oh! He goes, that's why I use the hook, because he used to use his hands. That thing just.
What
So
a turd. How freaking crazy that would be. I don't even know what I would do with a snake like that.
gotta go. Evicted.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta find somebody way more experienced than me because I would have a heart attack. And I'm not scared of those snakes or anything, but one coming at me, I would be.
I'm not scared of the snakes. I don't mind being bit, but it's just human nature. Like if
Yeah.
this coming flying at you, like, oh, let me stand in front of it. No, you want to get out of the way. It's scary. Like,
Yeah.
no. Watching those
I don't
people
jump out of
take
planes
bites.
either, so
Yeah, no,
yeah.
no, I blame you. I
Don't
don't
need the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, no, that'll do. That's
Yeah.
fine. All
Who do we
right.
got next up?
All right. So I think this will be the last group of pythons that we have to show. I have one out
Perfect.
here, and then I know you were talking about liking Aru not too long ago, so we could definitely pull one of those out too.
Those are 100% my favorite.
Nice.
100. They're so beautiful.
So this is a girl I have here on loan from a friend of mine. His name's Anthony. But this is a massive sarong locality green tree python. What up,
Wow.
Ivan? Papas. Okay, settle down, girl. She is like one of the largest green tree pythons that I have personally seen.
She's massive.
She is thick, and she's got this really cool, little yellow patch right there.
Oh, how cool.
So I've been pairing her up to one of my male sarong locality animals, and I've seen Locks, and she's still eating. Chondros, green tree pythons, are notoriously, known for being difficult to breed. And this is my first snake breeding project. So, I really just like punishing myself. I'm a masochist. I like really making it difficult. But eventually we will hit on some green tree pythons because I do think that we need more captive bred animals. We don't need to be taken out of the wild. Having
Agreed.
fresh blood is nice, right? You know what I mean? To have for founding stock. But if given the ability and financial wise, if you can afford captive bred animals, it is the way to go. Establishing none of these were fresh import animals or fresh wild caught animals, but getting them established and figuring out a feeding regimen and like a quarantine that works good for these guys is difficult and a little bit daunting, especially to new keepers. So if you can avoid that and just have a captive bred animal, I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, I went with a captive bred for my emerald, and I would do captive if I did a python, a green tree as well.
Absolutely.
For sure, the smart move.
For sure. Who did you get your emerald from?
Mile high or miles high. Yeah, he's
Arboreal
only,
or something?
yeah. I feel terrible, but it was like miles high or arboreals. Yeah,
Yeah. No. Very cool.
he's
Very
a great guy. Super awesome to work with. So
Nice. Here, let me go set up so we can pull out an RO here. And We'll pull out the nice one.
The nice one. Arus are totally they're so beautiful. I hope you have some luck with breeding them because I will definitely get one from you. I'm looking for captive bred Arus and it's so hard to find.
Absolutely. One person that I will recommend is your neighbor Ryan. Are you familiar with Molecular Reptile?
I am not.
So I believe he's in Idaho as well, but he has produced some of the nicest captive bred Aru stuff available.
Okay, I'll be checking him out as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to his stuff. He has some of the nicest captive bred. His stuff is he doesn't like the designer species outcrosses, so he just does pure stuff. But this right here is my male Aru locality green tree, and he's got some really cool yellow flecking on him.
That face.
Yeah, he's an old boy.
He's big too, though.
Oh yeah, and I have a younger male that he seems like a better active breeder. He shows more interest in the female. But yeah, haven't gotten it to hit. My female, she's awesome. She's got blue diamonds all over her. Like she just looks insane. But
his white is still really pretty.
Thank you. I got him from shoot. He's not a breeder, but some guy in Colorado. He was just kind of getting rid of an Aru animal, and he posted a picture of that snake on a deer antler. I was like, all right, mine. I want it.
Has to be for you, right?
Oh yeah. And since this is the last snake, I'll probably pull out. I don't mind not having gloves on.
Perfect timing too. We're right at almost an hour and a half.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Try not to get bit here. So this is my younger male Aru. Definitely ready for a meal. They don't usually get like this. But he is just like a very light colored lime green compared to the other male. The other male has like a darker green.
He has some blue too, or am I seeing blue?
Yeah.
No?
So
okay.
Yeah, blue undertones, especially on the belly. And then he's got some cool white speckling on his head. But yeah.
Oh, he is ready for food for sure.
Yep. All these well-behaved snakes are going to get a mouse after we end this here.
Good reward for him.
Yeah, for sure.
What a great last note. Was that was all of them, right?
Yeah, everything that I'm cool with showing. I've got a bunch more other stuff, but we don't have time for all
that. Yeah. Well, that was a great last note. Arus are amazing. So I definitely need that information. Not that my husband needs to hear that I'm shopping for another snake.
Yeah,
hopefully he's not still on
the down low.
Yeah. Well,
these podcasts are a love-hate relationship too, because I get to talk about all my aspirations and stuff I want to get into, and I can just feel my wife seething in the other room, no more snakes.
Do you want to kind of close on? You were talking about your mite treatment, the way that you treat those.
Absolutely. So
I'm super interested in this.
A really good way to close it out. So dealing with wild caught animals or long-term captive animals, stuff that's not captive bred, there is a lot of connotations that they're going to come in with mites, which is not always correct. Mites were kind of brought in from the ball python imports. They're an Africanized. Can we get him on the show?
Absolutely.
I'll come back anytime. But so they started coming in with the ball python imports, and they've kind of just made their way into the reptile hobby as a whole. And they're very annoying. They're hard to get rid of. And obviously they are painful and a hazard to your reptiles. For the most part, when people say that their snakes die from snake mites, that is inaccurate. You might have not noticed your snake starting to become infested with snake mites until it was too late. But a snake mite is a tick. It is a blood-sucking animal that is going to suck the life out of your reptile. If caught within the first couple weeks, it typically is not detrimental. What can be detrimental is that a lot of these viruses and diseases that are prevalent in reptilia are the way that they are transmitted is through saliva, so bodily fluids, saliva, blood, etc. So if you have a sick snake that has maybe nidovirus or crypto, and it's presenting those symptoms, and you have mites, well, if a mite attaches and bites a snake that has nidovirus, and then it travels from that snake to a different snake that doesn't have nidovirus, and it attacks that, that's how you transmit nidovirus, because you're transmitting the blood from that infected animal to the healthy animal. So that's where things can become very dangerous, very detrimental to your collection. Can lose a lot of stuff.
Because they spread pretty quick, right? When you get mites.
Absolutely. Especially if you keep animals on bedding, it's hard to notice, mites in bedding. That's why I recommend paper towels for quarantine on new animals. But a good way to deal with mites, to kind of get rid of it once and for all, and it's a very safe, non-intrusive method for your snakes, is there is a dog medication called NexGard. You can get it here in the States, prescribed from a vet. But
That's cool.
A workaround to kind of keep it cheaper and not have to have a doctor's appointment through a veterinary staff is you can buy it through an Australian website. It's like megastore.au or something. But if you Google NexGard dog tick medication, Australia, it should pop up. But you buy this dog medication from Australia and ship it here. After shipping and for the medication, it's about $100. And this medication, it comes in, your standard little like jerky that you give to your dog to make sure that it doesn't get teased or flicks or ticks and fleas throughout the year. And what you do is you take that medication and you take a razor blade and you cut it into small micro pieces. And depending on the weight of the snake, depends on the dosage that you use from those little micro pieces. So we've treated snakes as low as like 200 grams or 150 grams.
Wow, that's small.
Small colubrids, small pythons. I obviously recommend, larger animals. The larger the animal, the more leeway you have in the dosage. But even those small animals, you can cut that pill, essentially, that like jerky type medication, into grains of sand, into like grains of rice. Like that's essentially how small you have to get that medication for a small snake of that. And the snake is never going to take a medication, right? It's never going to take a pill. It's never. So what you do is you open the mouth of the feeder and you take that little sprinkle and you put it in the mouth of the feeder and then you feed the snake.
That's genius.
That medication is going to go into the snake's digestive system, and once it's digested, it gets rid of it once and for all. That snake is now, if a mite were to bite that snake, the mite will die on contact once, because the medication is now in the bloodstream, and the medication lasts for, I believe, 60 days, but 30 days, 100%. So
Wow.
if you went through your collection and fed a treated rodent twice a year, almost the chances of you ever having mites in your collection are dropped to almost zero, because
That's
the
what you're saying,
odds.
prevention.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's no adverse effects to these animals. I can send you there's collegiate and scientific studies that are, backed and published, backing this method, and I can send that over to you for you to look and, do your own
Absolutely.
research and stuff like that. But it is honestly a game changer when you are working with 100, 200 animals. Like, it's almost impossible to you get rid of mites in this half of the building, right? They just moved. They live in the walls. You know what I mean? They live in the
Yeah.
bedding. Like, it's
They're on you, transferred
right.
from yeah, they're yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we were dealing with like the heart of our mite like problem, I would come home from dealing with my buddy stuff and get naked essentially down to my
Yep.
chimneys in the garage, and
Burn
then
the clothes.
pretty much, and then deal with my animals on a whole different day. You know what I mean? Like, so it makes it really difficult to manage a lot of animals if you have to worry about that. But that tool really it was a game changer, like night and day. Like,
Sounds
so
safer than the sprays for sure.
the sprays, so the NextGuard spray that you can get imported from Europe is good, but it's still a little scary. I've heard some things that if you spray too much, you can have issues with RIs, their eyes and stuff like that. And anything with spraying and like wiping the snake, it just seems like a lot. If you can minimally invasive treat the animal with just feeding it like you normally would, and the animal knows no different, it's not stressed out any different, and the mites die the next morning, I think it's a little bit more beneficial.
Yeah. I love that idea, and it's absolutely a lot less scary to me. And then do you ever use those mite sprays that they sell online, like on Amazon and stuff? Those are pretty
So
dangerous too, right?
I've had a buddy that it's like literally it comes in a green package, and it's just a wipe, and it's a mite like wipe or whatever. I've had him use them on his green tree python, and it caused neurological issues.
Yep.
Same with the pest strip that you can get from Home Depot, to where you cut it to size. It's like the yellow pest strips. I've heard that prolonged exposure to that can cause neurological issues, and
So sad.
is it very sad, very sad. I've heard okay things with the Lugardi brand Reptile mite spray, and I think that's just because it doesn't work that good. Like,
Because it's watered down soap.
it's basically watered down mint soap, right?
Yeah.
It smells great and it's very natural, but it doesn't work that good. So nothing has. When I first started working for my buddy Bailey, he had gotten some boas that were from a trusted source, yada yada yada, whatever, and brought him into the collection, and they had mites in their nostrils, under their eyelids, hidden, very, very well hidden. But once you started examining, you're like, oh, no. And I tried doing the spray. I tried doing the pest spray from Home Depot. We tried everything. And then I started hitting a lot of these podcasts, and a couple different people had recommended the NextGuard, and we were nervous about it at first just because we'd never tried it. It's a dog medication, so how can it be safe for snakes? But after reading the scientific studies and, hearing other firsthand experience, people using it, we decided to bite the bullet, and we've never looked back since. In my opinion, there isn't a better way to treat the snake mites. than
I'll
that.
definitely be grabbing some after this because this last one scared me. It wasn't mites, but I was like, I have nothing to treat this. So
And honestly, we've treated animals that we weren't sure had mites, but were starting to present early symptoms. There aren't
yeah,
symptoms of mites, but a snake sitting in the water bowl that's not typically, that kind of makes you wonder.
yeah,
And we've treated it just for peace of mind and had no adverse effects. So it's good to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? So
yeah. Awesome. Was there anything else you want to do before we close out here?
I
Okay,
think
well,
we're
make
good.
sure,
It's been a blast.
yeah, it's been amazing. And I love seeing your collection. And if anybody on here hasn't followed Rooted Reptile yet, he makes amazing content on Instagram, anywhere else on.
I would say primarily Instagram. I'm on TikTok as well, Rooted Reptile, and then I'll post on Facebook, but that's under my main name, just Ben Saldivar.
Perfect. Well, you have a great night. Tell your wife thank you for loaning your time to us, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right, there you go. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It was a late one, and I'm so thankful for everybody who stopped by. And if you end up being on the replay, make sure you leave a comment when you guys watch. You guys have a great night.